It is the eve of salvation of mankind. The hour has come. Here in the garden is Jesus, the Nazarene, called a prophet by some, Elijah by others, and still by others believed to be John the Baptist resurrected. The night is cool, but in his presence the air is tense. His eyes are shut tightly in prayer. Listen, he speaks.
Abba, sic demo hac funga de mihi, nunqui nutus vestur fio. Father, if it is possible, take this cup from me. However, not my will, but yours be done.
In the garden, Jesus teaches us the perfect act of obedience to God the Father by accepting his will, even through death. Soldiers appear, armed with swords. From among them appears one of Jesus' closest followers, a man called Judas. He shakes and trembles as if for a moment he second-guesses the action he is about to commit. But the moment passes as a soldier intimidates him and spurs him into his last and most condemning action.
Judas, pro quidis od prebasium? Judas, do you betray the Son of Man with a kiss?
And so it is with a kiss the Son of Man is betrayed. The soldiers bind his hands with rope, cutting into his wrists. As they pull him forward, he trips on his restraints, falling to the mercy of his captors. They beat him and curse him mercilessly as he lays helpless on the ground. Finally, he is allowed to pick himself up off the ground. He begins to walk, stumbling as he goes. They lead him away from the garden, through the roads, into the city, to his judgment. Pilate expects the man to speak out to try to save his life, but the condemned says nothing and looks at the rope that binds his hands. Pilate circles him like a lion, and still nothing. So the interrogation begins.
Qui stui? Who are you? Qui stui mendu? What are you guilty of? Qui stui delphis? What do you want? Latro cautui? Are you a thief? Qui stui? Who are you? Qui stui? Who are you? Praesto, nec tui lentum praesto? I have the power to set you free or send you to death. Qui stui? Who are you?
Pilate stands before Jesus, repeating his questions. Jesus answers with a deafening silence. Pilate is overcome by anger and frustration and speaks slowly to Jesus. So again, Pilate asks,
Qui stui? Qui stui? Estis filis Dei? Who are you? Who are you? Are you the Son of God?
As Pilate turns, Jesus raises his eyes from his hands and responds in a soft voice.
Decoi sic. You say that I am.
Pilate nods and addresses the crowd.
Consulta, sed semel liberasci, hudi municipio lectus, sumur Barabbas menda or Jesus Nazarene? Which of these two men shall I release to you? Will it be Barabbas the criminal or Jesus the Nazarene?
He reminds the crowd that it is a custom to release one of the Jewish prisoners at this time of year. Choose, he calls, gesturing to the prisoners that stand beside him. Barabbas or Jesus of Nazareth?
Barabbas!
They call for a thief against an innocent man. Again, Pilate asks,
Quin cod, quid semel dedico? Who should I release? Who do you choose?
Barabbas! Barabbas! Barabbas!
Barabbas, they shout. Free Barabbas. Pilate sighs defeated and nods to the guard. The armored man, grimacing in disgust, releases the thief, and quickly the prisoner disappears into the crowd. Pilate asks him the question he knows is to seal the death of an innocent man.
Cum Jesus. What do I do with Jesus?
Crucify him! Crucify him! Crucify him!
Confungo cae prestus. What is he guilty of?
Crucify him!
Pilate calls for his servant. He washes his hands in a bowl of water to cleanse himself of the blood of Jesus.
Terci periclats recurrento. I wash my hands clean of this man's blood.
He commands Jesus to be flogged and then carry a cross of wood to Calvary, where he will die. Pilate watches as the guards drag him away. His rope bonds now become restraints that connect him securely to the pillar. Two large, solid men advance on the bound man. The whips are long strips of leather tied together to a wooden handle. At the end of each strip is a small iron nail embedded in the leather. They take their time, pacing back and forth behind Jesus. Jesus remains silent. His eyes are closed and waits for the soldiers to begin. Waiting, praying. The soldiers place themselves on each side of Jesus, and without warning, one strikes him. Their first strikes are only hard enough to leave red welts. The iron nails do not catch the skin. As the scourging goes on, the whipping grows louder, and the soldiers strike him as hard as they can and anywhere they can. His arms, his legs, his back, his feet, his hands. They strike everywhere. Jesus keeps his eyes closed and winces as the iron nails from the leather bite into his back again and again. His blood is everywhere. The pillar, the floor, the soldiers' faces. It is ceaseless. After what seems like an eternity, they stop and give the crowd a full view of Jesus' bloody and torn body. He is barely conscious, not even able to stand, but for all that, he is not broken. They bow before him in mock reverence, calling out,
Ave res Judi! Ave res Judi! Hail, King of the Jews! Hail, King of the Jews!
They produce a ratty crimson robe and drape it across his body. Adorn his head with a crown of thorns and places a reed in his hand. He remains silent. The soldiers, soon tired of their cruel game, they push him back to Pontius Pilate. It is time to begin the journey, and still he says not a word. Are stripped away by the guards. They jab the crown of thorns more firmly on his head as they stretch him to fit on the cross. Another guard nearby holds a mallet and 3 nails in his hand and approaches the cross as the soldiers hold Jesus. They begin the agonizing torture. Left watch him die. At his feet kneels his loving mother, tears falling from her face. She is comforted by John, his beloved apostle, and Mary Magdalene. Jesus looks upon them lovingly and speaks to his mother in a low tone.
Femina, aspicio tui. Woman, behold your son.
He turns to John.
Aspicio tui matris. Behold your mother.
Together they stand and watch as Jesus' head bows, and he says in a mournful voice, Ava, veniater ne quod Fabio. Father,
Forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Raising his voice to a shout, he cries,
Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani, perfectu abbas, in tui spiritus ladu. Father, Father, why have you forsaken me? Into your hands I commend my spirit.
He bows his head, and giving one last breath, Jesus dies. Suddenly, the crowd is gone, and as suddenly as it began, the earth calms and the sky lightens. Mary asks that her son's body be removed. A compassionate soldier helps John in removing the nails and lays the body of Jesus in the arms of his mother. She holds him close as she did when he was a child. She caresses his face and wipes it clean with her veil. She bows her head and in silence holds him, which was all she could do. It was all she wanted to do. Jesus is laid in a tomb, having fulfilled time. To every one of us here tonight, our families, our friends, and even to all who have yet to know him. Tonight, you have a special opportunity to know Jesus, to feel him, to see him, to adore him.